What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Clippers Latest, where we talk all things LA Clippers. Quick, fast, and to the point. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Goggins, here with another episode for you guys today. Here to talk about another Clippers basketball game in which we lost. Hence the no polo. That's why I'm here. In better spirits than I would be, and we'll talk about all that later. But first, before we get into it, I want to see how everybody's doing. I hope that everybody is doing as well as they can be, I hope that you still had a fantastic day, or you're having a fantastic day, depending on what time you may be watching this video. If you are having a fantastic day, make sure you hit that like button at the top. And consider subscribing if you're new here. It would be greatly appreciated. Come join the fam, Clip Gang, or don't. Bang, you feel me? But let's talk about this Clip game. You know, um, like this suggests, it was a heartbreaker. I don't want to say in a good way, because it shouldn't have been a heartbreaker in the first place. Like, if we had played how we did in certain stretches of the game, the whole game, we would have won this. Like, I'm not gonna say with ease, but we could have very well won it. Like, I don't understand why we have to face adversity just for us to feel challenged. Like, why can't we just come out the gate flaming like the Celtics do? You know what I'm saying? What these other good teams do. We shouldn't even put ourselves in these positions to where we have to fight back and have a hardened last second shot to tie it up, to even send it to OT. We might not even win overtime, but to have a shot. But like I said, we'll get to all of that later. We're gonna go by quarter, as we usually do, talk about the things that I saw, the good things, the bad things, just everything. So why don't we start with the first? So coming out, we started James Harden, Chris Dunn, John Collins, Derrick Jones Jr., and Ivica Zubac. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, for a minute there, I wasn't hating the Collins and Jones Jr. lineup, them being in the same lineup. I feel like because they play similar games, they really understand one another's game. Obviously, that is going to change for reasons we'll get to. But I still liked seeing them. But the Celtics, they rolled out Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jordan Walsh, and Neemias Queta, Cicada. I don't know. I know who he is, but I never knew how to say his name, pronounce it correctly. So, I hope that I'm pronouncing it right. But it doesn't matter, because that lineup was cooking right out the gate, man. We scored the first 2 points, and then they just took off. 9-0 run. Boom. Ty Lue timeout. Straight like that. Come out of the timeout. Boston scores again, James Harden finally came down and hit a much-needed three. The problem was they were hitting early, and we quite literally just weren't. They hit back-to-back threes to go up 21-9, so Ty Lue had to burn another timeout. We come out of that timeout. Guess what happened? We give up another three, and then an one. And it's to that point I'm thinking, we're gonna lose this game. Obviously, game ain't over till it's over, and that proved to be true. But that was an instance where they go on that run, we limit a few of those buckets, and we take care of the ball, and I don't know. Don't turn the ball over. Don't shoot dumb shots. And that's prevented. We lost by 3. You know what I mean? They go on this run. Things change. Things could change, but whatever. So finally, Bogdanovich checks in, and he takes a strive drong to the rack. A what? What did I just say? A strive drong? A strong drive. I need to go to sleep. But he took a strong drive to the rack, and I'm like, yeah, Bogey. Yeah. That's what we need. That's the energy we need from you. You know what I'm saying? He had that energy last game against the Mavericks, and I guess he carried some of that momentum over to this game as well. But every time we tried to make a push, they would just bury another three, man, Brook Lopez, he came in and hit one of his own. We still hadn't really closed that lead, but Joe Mazzulla still took a timeout. So I guess he felt that pressure coming. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those threes where like that could be the catalyst for a run. So I guess Joe Mazzulla tried to put that fire out before it could spread. Then the young guys, they came in and they actually started making a difference. We started clawing back and building some momentum. Jordan Miller drove baseline, kicked it out to Kobe Sanders for the three. That got Kobe up to 6 points in the quarter. And we were down 16 at one point in the first, but we fought back, brought it to within single digits to end the first. So then in the second quarter, you know, what do we do? You probably guessed it. We let them get another three. I'm listening. I'm sitting there like, yo, come on, man. Let's tighten up. What are we doing? So after that, Batum hits a wild buzzer beating bank shot. It was a 3-pointer that, went in as time was expiring on the shot clock, and he cut the lead all the way to 5. And then what does Derek White do? Comes right back and hits another 3. Bro. Derek White and Peyton Pritchard were absolutely torching us from behind the arc. And the craziest part about that is they've been struggling to start the year. And they decided, I'm going to pick the Clippers. I'm about to light they ass up. And that they did. They did. They used us as their get-right game. It's crazy. Batum, to his credit, he really impacted the game defensively. He had a few key blocks that kept the Celtics from pulling too far away for a second. And that included a dunk attempt on Jordan Walsh that had the announcers losing their minds. I was like, hell yeah, Nico. You might be old, but you still got them young legs. No, you actually don't. But when you want to, is what I'm saying. So, I say that, he kept Boston from pulling away, but they did anyway. Jaylen Brown, he just kept on getting to his spots, man. White hit again. Baylor Shireman got in on the action. Next thing you know, we're down 18. Whoop-de-doo. So, I don't know, man. We just erased all the work that we put in to cut the deficit, and then it got even worse. Derrick Jones Jr. got hurt on a play where Jaylen Brown fell and inadvertently jerked his knee. Derrick Jones Jr. had to be helped off of the floor, but he couldn't put any weight on it. So if he's out for any amount of time, that's a super, super critical loss. He's been a huge help on both sides of the ball. Sending a prayer and a speedy recovery for Derrick Jones Jr., man. We're going to miss you. It didn't look too good, but I'm hoping. Well, I don't know if this sounds insensitive, but I'm hoping for, at the very least, it's a hyperextension, and that won't cause him to be away for too long. But I don't know. It looked painful to watch, man, and I could tell he couldn't put any weight on it, so I know what that, entails. But like I said, hopefully it was just, a hyperextension and nothing more, nothing less. But we will find out in due time. We did manage to go on a little 8-0 run to bring it back to within 10, but it felt like we could just never push past that wall. You get what I'm saying? Boston scored a little more to close the half, and then we went into the breakdown 14. It was going to be an uphill battle loading, but, 14 is feasible for a comeback. So, I was like, what do we do? So coming out of halftime, we find out that Derrick Jones Jr. will not be returning with that knee injury. And on top of that, Jordan Miller was also out with some hamstring soreness. So I don't know if that will be as long-lasting as Derrick Jones Jr., but, I hope that he gets that situation figured out as well. Because, hammies ain't no joke, man. Hammies ain't no joke. So regardless, we're down 2 more guys, and that's not exactly a great sign. Not at all. So, of course, Boston got off to a fast start again in the third, and they pushed the lead up to 20. Peyton Pritchard, he just decided that he didn't feel like missing tonight. He was feeling like prime 2016 Steph Curry, 2013 Ray Allen in the finals, just letting it fly. Like, I don't know. We were still playing with some fight. We just couldn't hit enough shots to really chip away at their lead. Down the stretch of the third, though, we finally started stacking some good possessions. I was like, yes, this is what we need in the third quarter, but like not when we're down 20, like when the game is still close, so we can actually build a lead. But we did go on a 15-2 run to try and climb back again. And like that kind of felt like the theme of every quarter this tonight or today. Every quarter that we went on a run, every quarter we would go on a run to get back in the game, bring it to a little close deficit, and then the next quarter we just let the lead get out of hand all over again. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is we need to learn how to build momentum and maintain that momentum. Foot on the gas. We allergic to the gas pedal. We start something, we can't finish it. But this is also when Zubac started picking up some steam. He got a tough and one in the paint, and he splashed the free throw. He's been doing better when it comes to that. You know, I was on that at the beginning of the season. And then we started really rolling. You know, we stacked buckets, we got stops, and eventually James Harden hit a huge three to cut the lead to just 5. Mind you, we were down 24 earlier in the game. So this was mostly the second unit, with the exceptions of Harden and Zubac. Kobe Sanders, Nick Batum, and Bogey were in there making an impact. That lineup, they were cooking. Shout out them boys, man. But then, you know, Boston came out in the fourth quarter and immediately capitalized on our early turnovers. They pushed it back to an 11-point game after a Jaylen Brown and one. We weren't giving up yet. Bogey was staying aggressive, finding ways to score out of nothing, you know, just working the gaps. But Jaylen Brown, he just kept on quietly stacking his points, bro. He had a smooth 29 midway through the fourth. I don't know what he finished with, but I know that him and Peyton Pritchard were the leading scorers, man. They just weren't letting us come all the way back. You know, every time we got close, they had an answer. They retaliated. And after a lot of back and forth, we managed to get it all the way back down to 5 again after a huge Harden 3. In the fourth quarter, he was starting to get in his bag, bro. But it was feeling like a little too late. But then we got a massive stop. Harden gets fouled on a 3, knocks down all 3 free throws, makes it a 1-possession game. Boston came down and got an easy bucket to push it back to 5 with 13 seconds left. And I was like, I mean, this is probably over. We need a miracle to even have a chance. And Harden did everything that he could to make that miracle happen, man. He hit back-to-back daggers to keep us alive, man. He brought it to within just 1 point with about 2 seconds left. Obviously, we have to foul. So we foul. They come down, hit the free throws. Their lead is back up to 3. So we have this inbound play. We can't advance the ball. So we inbound it. Chris Dunn throws it all the way down to Zubac, who is like at the top of the key at the free throw line on the other side of the floor. And then he kicks it out to Harden, who was like as open as he could have been. Perfect play design. It was a great draw, but by Tyronn Lue. Harden just missed it, man. You know. And just like with the Kawhi game winner attempt, you know, some games ago, you just can't hit them all, you know. It was a miracle that we were even in that position to begin with after being down 24 points. So, you know, it sucks that we couldn't get it to go. Back-to-back extra time in games would be crazy. But like, man, we were so close to it. They playing their ass off, man. You know, it's another one of those nights where it doesn't really come down to the last shot. We had plenty of opportunities to dig ourselves out of that hole before that moment, you know? We just simply didn't capitalize. If we don't get off to such a slow start, we're not fighting from 20 plus down. A lot went wrong to put us in that situation. But to be fair, a lot also went right to even give us a chance to be in that situation. So I'm glad that we never gave up, and I hope that this is a reminder that we can compete with literally anybody whenever we play like we want to compete with anybody. But now we just got to start or stop proving that we can compete with anybody by climbing out of a double digit deficit every night to prove it. You know, I don't understand why it has to get to that point for us to like, for it to ignite a fire under us to make us want to play hard. We got to exert twice the amount of energy to try and, come back, because not only are you trying to score, but you're also trying to stop a team that might be on fire. As in Boston today, it was very hard to get stops because they couldn't miss. You know what I mean? But I'm proud of the effort that we showed towards the end of the game. I wish that we would show that effort game round, but I guess it'll just take us a minute to learn that. I don't know. We got our second back-to-back of the season against the Sixers tonight. Saying tonight as in when this video comes out. They won't have Joel Embiid. They won't have Kelly Oubre Jr., but it is alleged that Paul George is making his season debut. And how fitting is that his return would be against the Clippers, the team that he was on most recently. I'm not gonna lie, we gotta kick their ass. We cannot let them win, bro. And I know that we're gonna be in Philadelphia, so they crowd gonna be on some stuff, but bro, we can't let PG beat us, bro. We definitely can't let him have a good game. We gotta shut his ass down. And without Derrick Jones Jr., well, I don't know if he's gonna be out, but assuming that he's probably gonna be out, I can't see him having that injury tonight, and then playing in the game. Well, I need to work on my tense. I'm trying to cater to you guys as far as your time. So I can't see him getting hurt yesterday and then playing in the game tonight. I don't think that he should, honestly. I don't want him to force an issue. Take as much time as you need. I mean, shoot, we still got Kawhi out that's been out for 2 weeks now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We just need to beat their ass. That's all I know. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new. And, if you have any comments or suggestions, questions, any of the above, concerns about any of the topics that we talked about today, what do you think about the game? What did you see that went right? What did you see that went wrong? Any other suggestions for what the Clippers should do moving forward? But without further ado, I'm gonna get on up out of here, guys. Y'all be easy, y'all stay sleazy, and y'all keep it capital P. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Y'all take it easy. Peace. Clip gang or don't bang.